Hey everyone, it's Julianne here and welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how I created this Slimline birthday card featuring a bunch of products from My Favorite Things. I used the brand new Big Birthday Wishes Die-namics set along with the adorable cake and cupcake images from the All the Cupcakes stamp set as well as the Birthdays Take the Cake stamp set. These stamp sets were released during different releases from My Favorite Things, but I thought that they matched perfectly together in order for me to create my card today. So let's get started. I started out by using the Big Birthday Wishes Dynamic set to die cut my slimline background panel that I've trimmed down to 3.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to be lining up that die near the top of my background, making sure that I have it centered onto my panel before temporarily adhering it down using some washi tape. And once I have that adhered, I'm just going to run that through my die cutting machine. And once I have all those letters die cut out, I'm just going to put them off to the side and I'm going to end up using them later on. Next, I'm going to start working on the rest of my background, which I'm going to be creating a little scene using all the cupcake stamp set as well as the Birthdays Take the Cake stamp set to create a scene full of cake and cupcakes down at the bottom of my background panel. I knew I needed to do all of my die cutting before I started creating my scene at the bottom because I needed to know how much room I had to play with in order to stamp out all the cupcakes and cakes that I wanted to use today, as well as that additional sentiment. So when it comes to scene building, the first thing that you need to decide on is which images you want to look as though they're in the front of your scene versus the ones that you want to look as though they are in the background. So what I like to do is I kind of mess around with the placements of all of my stamps before I do any stamping. And once I'm happy with their placement, then I actually start working on my scene. So the first thing I did was stamp my sentiment up at the top, plus that additional cake image. I masked that off, and then I stamped the cake stand as well as the rest of the cupcakes that I wanted in the front. Now, when I stamp those original cupcake images, I'm going to then mask them off, and then I'm going to continue my stamping. Now, any stamping that I stamp over those masks, once I remove those masks, will look as though they are behind those original couple of images. And that's how you build any type of scene when it comes to card making, is you just need to decide which images you want to look as though they're in the front, and you want to stamp those first, and then you want to mask them off, and then you want to do any additional stamping and masking as needed. Once I have all of my stamping done, the next step is actually my favorite part when it comes to scene building, which is finally getting to remove all of those masks from my background in order to reveal the scene that I've created. Once I have all of those masks peeled back, I'm then going to start working on coloring in all of those cupcakes as well as the cake images that I stamped. And I did forget to mention that I did all of my stamping onto some Express It blending cardstock using some Memento Tuxedo black ink. That way I could do some Copic coloring today. The colors I decided to use were based on the Birthday Brights paper pad from My Favorite Things. I do plan on die cutting some of those letters up above using one of the sheets in that paper pad, so I wanted my coloring to match. I will have all of my marker caps off to the side in case you are interested in any of the colors I'll be using today, and I'll be right back. Using the Birthday Brights paper pad from My Favorite Things that I mentioned earlier, I took the sheet with the multicolored stars that you see here, and I ran that through my die cutting machine along with the Big Birthday Wishes Dynamics set. And I ran that through my die cutting machine just to cut out those smaller letters that are included in the die set. Now off camera, I did use that same die and cut out the bigger letters, but I did that using some black glitter cardstock. But once I have all of my letters cut out and I pop them out of that die, I'm going to be adhering them to the white letters from earlier, and I'm going to be adhering all of them together using some liquid adhesive. Adhering all of these layers together is going to give my letters some really nice dimension for my card today. Once I have all of those letters adhered together, it was now time for me to start assembling the rest of my card. I'm going to be starting out by adhering my background panel to some more of that black glitter cardstock, and that's the same cardstock I used for those die cut letters earlier. And I'm going to be adhering my background panel down using some more of that liquid adhesive. I did trim that black glitter cardstock to slightly bigger than my background panel. That way I could have a really nice border all the way around my card. Once I have that all adhered, I'm then going to start adhering all of those die cut letters into the negative space of the die cut using some more of that liquid adhesive. Now again, since I did adhere all of those die cut letters together, it's going to give my card some really nice added dimension to my die cut sentiment. Once I have everything adhered to my card, I'm then going to be finally adhering my background panel to my card base. And my card base measures 3 3/4 by 8 3/4. And finally, to finish off my card, I'm going to be scattering a bunch of clear sequins throughout. And that's going to complete my Big Birthday Wishes Slimline card for today. I want to thank you all for stopping by and spending some time with me. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, as well as subscribe for even more card making ideas. If you are interested in any of the supplies I used today, they will all be listed and linked down below in the description box. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day and happy crafting!